Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the new collection from Jaclyn Cosmetics, the powders. This, to be honest with you, was not a collection that really spoke to me because I hate powders. I am very picky with powders, and out of all the powders that I have tried, I have only liked two, Fenty and Huda Beauty. And there have been some that have been decent, but I have to be careful with how I use them. So I was interested in this collection and I wanted to review it in that sense. Like, I was interested because I wanted to make a video on it. But to be honest with you, I was going to completely skip it. But when it released, I got an email from Jaclyn Cosmetics saying, hey, we have a new collection. It's available now. You could go purchase it. And you know what I did? I bought everything from the collection. And I'm $129 deep in it. So if you want to see what I think about it, keep on watching. Okay, to test out this under eye primer, I wanted to go ahead and do my eyes without a primer and then with the primer, so I can really see if I can tell a difference, if it makes it worse, if it makes it better. This is the Prep Starter Hydrating Under Eye Primer. It retails for $24. I've never used an under eye primer, so I'm a little unsure of how it's gonna go. That's why I wanted to do without versus with, just to really see a difference. So we'll see. Part of the benefits of this product is that it does have a cooling tip on it. And it is, ooh, it's cold. That's kind of nice. So I'm just going to squeeze out just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. Again, I've never used an under eye primer, so I don't really know. That feels very nice under the eye though. It's a pretty thick consistency. I'm just gonna kind of rub that in with my finger a little bit. Okay, that feels pretty set on the skin. I don't know if it's going to completely dry down or if it's supposed to, I mean, it's a hydrating primer, so I would imagine that it's going to stay a little moist. Some of y'all just cringed. Alright, so I'm going to go in with my concealer and just lay this down and see how we're looking. Okay, so my concealer is all set into place. This side with the primer does feel tackier, which it's not set with a powder yet, so I mean that will go away. But I would say that I can tell just by the look of it that it is a little bit more luminous. Next, I'll be going in with the Face It All Brightening and Setting Palette. I got the shade Fair to Light. This retails for $39, and I'm going to go in with the shade Coconut on a clean sponge. This is a damp sponge. Just gonna pick up some of that and set under the eye and on the lid as well. Another dip for the under eye on the other side. I'm going to dip into the shade Honey, which is a little bit deeper. It's a little more close to my skin tone. Picking up a fair amount, and I'm going to set my pores with this. Now, right off the bat, this is pretty pigmented. Now, I know that this is to brighten and to set as well, but like, these are pretty pigmented. I'm just going to take a brush and kind of buff that out a little bit and remove any excess product that might be there. Okay, I'm gonna go finish off my eyes, bronzer, all of that, and then we'll get back into the rest of these powders. Okay, so I went ahead and finished off my bronzer, contour, and blush off camera. Now I'm gonna go in with the Bake and Brightening Under Eye Powder, and I got the shade Lilac. Now, the reason I chose this is because I love the lilac color from Fenty. So I wanted to give this a shot because I knew I liked that color. This powder retails for $29. Just gonna give that a little shake. Pop down. And since, ooh, that block came out, but that's a beautiful lavender color. So I'm going to bake with this. I don't normally bake, but I don't mind it either. So it's just not a step that I really do. I used to, but I've kind of gotten away from it. So good amount comes on the sponge. And again, this is a damp sponge. And this does look to be pretty pigmented powder. Just gonna bake along my bronzer and contour as well. And just the top of my nose. For those of you who don't know, I am super picky with powders. I have combination skin. Right now I'm pretty normal, a little bit oily in my T-zone, but I can get dry at my forehead and around my mouth and things like that. So I'm very picky. I have not met many powders that I get along with. So I'm excited to see this. I'm also a little bit nervous that it's going to actually jack up my makeup. So we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyes and then we'll wipe this bake off. Okay, so I went ahead and did my eye makeup. It's been about 10 minutes that this bake has been on. I'm a little nervous, just because I feel like this is gonna be so bright, a little cocaine-ish. So we shall see. We shall see. Moment of truth. Okay, it's definitely pigmented because I can see exactly where I placed it. Okay, this is a little too much for me, so I'm just gonna go in with my sponge that I applied my foundation with and just kind of bounce over. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit more blush and I'm going to go in with a little more bronzer as well. Keep in mind that this went so pigmented because I let it bake. That's the point of baking. It makes things bright, and where I could have just put this on and then wiped it off immediately, it would not have been this pigmented. But the fact that it sat on my skin for 10 or so minutes definitely made this a lot more pigmented. Alright, we are down to the last powder, which is called the Last Act Translucent Setting Powder. This is a universal translucent powder, but we will see because that's pretty pigmented. That has kind of a cast, and it has a sheen to it, almost like a highlight. I'm a little nervous about that as well, but we will see. Okay, I'm just going to take a fluffy angled brush, pick up a decent amount of product, and I'm going to buff this on the rest of my face. Okay, I can see that sheen just a little bit. It's more like a soft glow. It's not glittery or anything like that. Okay, so that did lighten me up, which is concerning for deeper skin tones, because I see that slightly white cast of a look, and whereas I might be able to get away with it, someone with a deeper complexion definitely won't. And I don't even like it on me, and I'm pretty fair. So again, I'm gonna go back over with bronzer and blush just to kind of warm this back up because I don't dig the white cast. Okay, so now that my makeup is completely done, looking at my face, it looks very good. Now, what I would have done different is I would not have baked. I would have placed the powder down and wiped it off. In my daily routine, I would probably not, I know I wouldn't, I'm lying to you by saying probably. I know good and well I would not go in with 3 separate powder products, which includes a palette, translucent powder, and the setting powder, which was in the shade lavender. I would not go in with all 3 of those, by no means. I would pick one and that'd be it. That would be it for me. This looks beautiful though. I don't love that the translucent powder made me have a little bit of that kind of ghostly glow. If that product came in a variety of shades, I would like it a lot better. I think it would be beautiful if they were more like translucent, but like with your skin tone, rather than just being like that white. So that's probably my least favorite product of all. But at the same time, it's only because of the color. I like the finish of it. My makeup feels very set into place. I feel like this will not move, which is nice. And I do like the fact that this does have a little bit of a glow to it. It doesn't look dry on the skin, which is something that I absolutely hate, is dry, crepey, cakey, nasty mess. And my under eyes look good. I have creased under eyes, so my eyes are going to crease. But it looks very good. And me being somebody who is very picky about powders, this is a bigger compliment than I was expecting to give it. To be completely honest with you, I wanted to review this collection and talk about it, but at the same time I was like, I feel like I'm gonna hate these products and I'm just gonna be stuck with them and not use them. But I am very happy with how my skin looks, aside from baking, because I'm not used to baking. And if I did bake, it was not with a lavender, which is going to be brightening, and this is a very pigmented powder, which is going to be even more brightening. So if I had just placed it down, wiped it off immediately, I can tell you that I would have been a lot happier with it rather than having to reapply my bronzer and blush 3 separate times. As far as the palette goes, I like this. This is just to show you some color swatches. I like this because it's a very thin formula. And I'm funny about thick powders, because thick powders can get cakey real fast. If you want a more natural look, a thinner powder will do the job. And if I were going in with very natural makeup, I could set with just those and I would be good. I don't feel like I would crease under my eyes or anything like that. As far as the primer goes, don't know how I feel about this. The cooling tip felt very, very nice. And it would help for depuffing under the eyes, which is something that I want because I do have kind of slightly bagged under eyes. You can tell when I'm tired. But the side with the primer, for some reason, looks like my concealer is a little bit thinner. I can see a little bit more dark on the eye with the primer versus the eye without the primer. So I don't dig that. I probably won't reach for this. I'll definitely try it out more and maybe let it sit on the skin longer and completely just see if it just absolutely dries down. But but this collection as a whole, I am actually very impressed with, because I am so picky with powder products. I was not expecting to like this whatsoever. But they're flattering on the skin. They set nicely. They're pigmented, so be careful with them. Out of everything, I would recommend the palette and the under eye brightening and baking powder. I would skip the translucent and I would skip the under eye primer. That's just me, so take it with a grain of salt. If you have dry skin, this would probably be good for you because it does have a slight hint of a luminous look to it. If you have oily skin, this is not quite as mattifying as you might want to go. So that's it for this video. I would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. If you want to be notified when I post, hit the bell. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.